Welcome to episode 8.21 of the Grumpy Brothers podcast. I am Chris Ludvigsen, joined by Ted. Say, hey, Ted.
Hey, Ted.
Thank you to our listeners. Please subscribe and listen on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or Odyssey. Also, please follow us here on millions.co. And Ted, I'm trying to get my camera set up just right because my head is getting cut off. There I am. There I am.
Yeah, in all your glory.
In all my glory, in all my morning glory. Ted, I'm trying to figure out how many people.
I saw 10 or 11 people watch the last one.
Oh, on YouTube? Okay, there you go. For the 10 people that follow us on YouTube. So there you go. They got to see my smiling face in all its glory. Can't quite get this collar going right today, though, Ted. I don't know quite. It's got a mind of its own. I'm pretty upset about this collar thing going on over here. You don't have that worry as you're repping your glorious juggernaut.
The juggernaut is on. Yeah.
There you go.
It's a lot of turtle.
Yeah, there you go. Testudo Jr. is Ted.
No.
I tell you, it seems like every time I open up my email these days, I got another email from someone associated with University of Maryland hawking me for more money. So
well, apparently the state isn't taking enough from me to give to Maryland anymore. I don't know.
All right, so today is all NBA and NHL playoffs as we're into the final four of both. Before we get to those series, Ted, what's making you grumpy today?
Well, this isn't really. I'm not. So I got two little things. Okay. The other day, I was looking. Turner Classic Movies, right?
Yeah.
TCM.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Oftentimes, they go through stretches where they do like a theme, whether it's a particular actor, actress, director, or theme of movies. Like
Westerns.
I think this weekend is a lot of war movies, kind of thing. Sure. And so I'm looking. I was looking in the TV guide on the television, the guide thing, and there was this movie that and it said, and then so I was trying to figure out who thought this was the right theme or whatever, who programmed this at TCM, because it said, I think it was Thursday night, Bridge Over the River Kwai.
Beautiful.
Followed by Blazing Saddles. Like, those movies, there's no character involved. There's no actor, as far as I know. Unless there's like, the costume designer is the same guy, or I don't know. But I've been trying to figure out what the connection, or was that the line of demarcation? We did a bunch of war movies, and we went to the Bridge of River Kwai, and then we're completely going a completely opposite direction from that point forward. So, but so I thought about that for a little bit, and then this morning I was meeting with the business manager at a McDonald's. And
you guys dine at all the finest establishments, Ted.
Let me tell you something. I was, the business manager needs to get on the stick a little bit. I was trying to push this for him, trying to push this into him.
Now they're 8 years in. Yeah, now we're going to start pushing.
Well, he did give us pens and stuff like that. See, there you go. And the flashlights and the whole 9 yards. We had stuff, but we never had anybody to give this stuff to an immediate family. But so I have a meeting with him, and I'm walking back I went to the bathroom, and I'm walking back, and there's an older couple, and the woman says to the man, I don't know if they're married, brother, I don't know. And she says to him, she's got her phone out. She says to him, "Do you want to see a picture of my brother's legs before he died?" And I almost stopped and said, "Well, yes." I think it was a question of, was it yes or nobody wants to see that? I don't even know who your brother was. I mean, and so, and here's the guy diving in. Oh yeah, I gotta see that. Like, oh my, what, that's quite a line. That's just quite a line. I don't even know, I mean, and I'm sitting there because they were older than me, and I'm thinking, "Is this what I have to look forward
That's
to?"
exactly what I was thinking too. At some
Yeah.
point in your life, does your life become so uneventful that you're looking at pictures of your brother's legs before he passes? Oh my gosh! Like this is the highlight of the day. Woo!
Well, and it's 8 o'clock in the morning, so
As you're having breakfast.
yeah. Well, they were. I think they'd been there a while, so because
Oh gosh.
some people can't sleep, so I think they were there for a while. But I was like, wow, that's
Ted,
yeah,
when you were talking about when it became clear you were talking about seeing a picture of something somewhat untasteful or non-tasteful,
unsavory.
unsavory, I thought of, I can't remember which comedian it was. I can't remember if we've talked about this. There was a comedian who did a bit about the fact that if you're a guy
Yeah,
and you're with your buddies
yeah,
and you say to your buddies, like, let's say you're coming out of the gym, right?
yeah.
And you've got your gym bag filled of soiled clothes and whatnot
Right, right,
that it may even sweat in quite a
right,
bit.
right.
And you say to your buddy, whew, my gym bag smells awful. Do you want to smell it?
Yeah,
And
right. Yeah.
it's like guy code that the other guy has to take a sniff just to support
Just
his buddy's claim that his gym
yeah,
bag is so smelly. It's like
yeah,
a
right.
guy.
And well, not only that, then you can if you're the only two there, then you can bring the boy, you should smell what Jim's gym bag smells like. Man, woo!
Jim, bring over your
Yeah, bring
before
that
long.
over
You're
here.
doing like a blind sniff
Or
test. Whose gym
or the
bag
other
is this?
hey, let's do this. Let's leave it in the trunk when it's 120 and pop that thing open later and have everybody take a whiff. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's kind of where we were at that point. Yeah.
Oh gosh. And every so often you hear a comedian talk about something and you go, "Oh my gosh, that is just perfection."
Yeah,
Oh,
it's exactly what happens. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. Gosh, remembering back in the day when we were young and smelling each other's gym bags coming out of the locker room at Paint Branch High School.
Well, I don't remember that specifically. There's nothing so much that
Here, here
there are
here's the
other smells that I've remembered since then that
yeah,
stick.
yeah. I guess the question is, of all of our buddies, who do you think would have had the smelliest gym bag? That's an interesting question.
Yeah. Okay. All
some,
right.
some thoughts immediately spring to mind. Anyway, let's continue. Ted, the executive producer and I have very different television viewing tastes.
Sure. Hence Bridge over River Kwai and places.
I will say this: two great movies. One thing that I thought you might go to when you're talking about the movies is that one of the things that bothers me now is every so often I see a car drive by that has an antique license plate that I remember from my youth. So
Right.
the
Right.
same thing, like now we're going to start seeing movies on. I mean, does TCM show movies that were filmed in color? And if so, what is the demarcation
Sure.
line?
Of
So
course. They show
would
all that.
Godfather now count as being on TCM?
Oh
It is
yeah, it's
50
been
years
on.
old.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's been on there. Yeah, yeah.
So my point is the same way, like,
They show pretty much anything that they can get their hands on, I think.
well,
If
but
it's a good.
like, I remember the first time I think it might have been like a Datsun 280Z,
Yeah,
right?
right, right.
Go
Yeah,
by
yeah.
with an antique license plate. I went, oh my gosh, that's the car that I
Right,
wanted to
right,
have
right,
when I
right,
was
right,
a teenager.
right, right,
Same thing applies, now watching like when Jaws comes on TCM, like, no, I remember going to see that in the movie theater.
right, right, right.
That's
Yeah.
not good.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I think I said to I think I said to Robbie once, I said, you've gotten old when you're watching a baseball game and you remember the guy's father when he played.
Right, right, right.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
the first one for me was when Ken Griffey Jr. came on
Right.
board. I was like,
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
like that at all.
No.
Anyway, back to the executive producer and I and watching TV habits and tastes. So the other night, I was walking past as she was watching television, and she had on one of the housewives shows.
Yeah. Okay.
And I said, without thinking, looking at the screen,
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
is that Portia? And she went, yes, it is. And my next thought was, How bad is that? That I know by first
That you
name
know who Portia
and
is,
didn't even
right?
think about it. Like, oh yeah, that's Portia.
Yeah, that's
And
pretty
the
that's
reason I
awful.
asked is I knew that she hadn't been on for a while.
Oh, wow. Wow. So now you really know. Yeah. You
I was
actually
like, what
know
is she
somebody.
doing back on the show? I thought that she had like other irons in the fire.
Oh, wow.
The
Yeah.
executive producer says from the distance she needed the money.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. Is that the end of your grump that
No,
go.
here's the one way I justify knowing Portia.
Oh, okay.
Okay. At one time when she was first on The Housewives, she was married to Cordell Stewart.
Right. Okay. So it's a
So
sports connection.
so it's a sports connection.
Yeah. Yeah.
As
Okay.
long as I can weave in some little thread to justify knowing one of the housewives.
Yeah. 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 I'll tell you something that happened when I don't know. I guess I was with Dad. They were still living in Calverton, and I had
Hmm.
helped him. Um, I guess I think I was out of college, um, and I'd helped him cut the grass. Real hot, So I came over and helped him cut the grass, and we finish. Get something to drink. TV. He puts the TV on, and you remember the show, the Solid Gold Dancer
Yes.
thing.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he used to watch that, because he liked the dancers.
I could just see that. Watching Solid Gold. Oh
Well
my gosh, is anything more out of character?
well, but he liked the dancers. So, at some point in that show, or when we had just turned it on and I was standing there and it was like in the middle of the show, and they had a clip because they would play bands singing their hit song it was kind of like they would mix in. It was almost like American Bandstand.
Okay, you're right. Yeah. Huh?
And it was Bruce Springsteen playing something,
Okay.
and it was like video of him doing something, not a music video, but video of him
I see
somewhere.
where this is going. Continue.
No, I don't. Dad walks in.
Yeah.
It's not. He didn't. There was no introduction because when I turned it on, it was already on.
Yeah.
And he looks at the screen
Yeah.
and says, "Is that the boss?"
Yes.
And I almost fell down.
Yeah.
And I
He's
said,
from
"Well,
Jersey.
that was his." I said, "How do you know that?" He goes, "It's from New Jersey." I'm like, "Okay, whatever. Is that the boss?" Good. Good. I didn't think he knew anything past the
Patsy
platter.
Cline.
Yeah, the platters, Patsy Cline. Yeah, I didn't think he knew any
Oh
of that.
no, what was it? Francis. Who was the one he always talked about? Something first name
There was
Francis.
a woman. Yeah, there was a woman from New Jersey. Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a singer. Yeah. But I mean, this is like 1956. I didn't think he knew anything past that. Yeah. The Mills Brothers. Okay, great.
The Ink Spots.
Yeah, the Ink Spots. That was the one. Yeah, the Ink Spots. Yeah.
Then I told you that I think I saw two of the guys, or maybe one of the guys from the Ink Spots one day in Atlantic City.
Oh, okay.
We'd gone for the day to gamble.
Yeah.
And I lost all of my money like in a half hour.
Right.
So I had to spend the rest of the day nursing a single beer because that's all the money I had left. Watching some guy shuffle around from the Ink Spots. Yeah, you know how sometimes you realize you're not cut out for certain things. That was my aha moment. Chris, you're not a gambler. This is what you're left to do the rest of the day.
Yeah. I don't know. How'd you lose it? On slots or just in
blackjack?
General?
Not blackjack.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Making
right.
big bets that you couldn't carry, huh?
Losing them $5 a pop, baby. Back in the day when they had a $5 table.
Yeah.
All right, here we go, Ted. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I actually got that one right the first time, Ted.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
All right. You know what? I'm going to be.
You are the boss. You are the boss.
Yes. I'm going to be optimistic and think you get this right. So I'm going to highlight the sound effects so I can say it properly when you say this one right. Ted, we're going to talk about the NBA playoffs here shortly. And in the past, I think we would agree that the NBA, like pretty much all of basketball, has become much more perimeter focused.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay. And we talked about the fact that the Joker has never led the NBA in scoring.
Right.
Okay. Ted, who was the last center to lead the league in scoring for a season? Oh, I got the face. Maybe you don't know it.
Well, I mean, the last center.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there haven't been any decent big men in a long time. How about Shaq?
Hold on. I'm going to give you just a little. That's all I'm going to give you, because you have to go. There's one guy before him that's actually within the last 6 years.
The last 6 years as a center?
Won it 2 years in a row. Leading scorer 2 years in a row.
It can't be Embiid. He didn't play enough games. How's he what, so is it combined?
Well, you know what? Now that you say this, Ted, this is scoring average. I don't know if it might not be the most points, but it's the scoring average per game.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in 2 consecutive seasons, 22-23, he led with just over 33 points per game. And the season before, he led with 30.5 points per game. And Ted, I forgot to look. I'll have to look this up now and see
would it
how many
have qualified with the 65?
I'm now going to look that up. I'm going to look up and see with Joel Embiid. Let's look up Joel Embiid.
Well, there were a couple years where maybe those were the years where he actually did play.
Well, and I remember there was a couple of years where he
before he hurt his knee and had to go to the Olympics.
Well,
but
what I remember is there were a couple of seasons there where he was he made comments that he couldn't understand why he wasn't winning these awards or something along those lines. Let's see here, Ted. Okay, in these 2 seasons, he in one season he played 68 games, in the other season he played 66. So he would have just fallen in the category of winning those 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, 66 and 68 games, which for him
hard,
is like that's like a Wilt Chamberlain season for him, playing all 82 and playing 40 minutes a game. That's
exactly what I was thinking. Yeah,
that's the equivalent. And flying on commercial airliners between games, or buses going from New York to Syracuse. Would Syracuse have still had a team when Wilt was first in the league?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, because I think they moved to. Wait a minute, Syracuse. Yeah, Syracuse became. I think they became either they folded and then they were reborn as the 76ers or something. I think they existed for a while when he first came in. Maybe they folded and the Sixers then came in, because the Sixers replaced the Philadelphia Warriors.
Ah, okay.
And I don't remember how much of a time frame there was.
Yeah. Okay, Ted. Let's start with the Knicks and the Cavaliers.
Woo, doggies.
Yeah. I don't think there's a lot to be said about game 1 and the epic fourth quarter meltdown by the Cavaliers. I think, I've heard people blame their offense. I've heard people blame their defense. I've heard people blame the coach. And I think it is an all of the above situation.
Yeah. And you have to give the Knicks credit for hanging in there. And look, they went after Harden. There's no question about it. I don't care what the coach says.
I think even Mike Brown said afterwards that they hunted him.
Yeah, right. I mean, and I don't care what the coach says, that he's great in isolation and practice or something like that. You got to get him off the floor. You had to get him off the floor, because all you had to do was stop him. You had to. That's been the whole series. Every time I peek in at Cleveland can't stop them when they need to.
Well, it's interesting. Last night, the only little run that the Cavaliers put together was when they had Tyson on the floor, and Tyson was just played, with his hair on fire, offensively, defensively. I don't know, he's a great skilled player, but he played hard and he created some situations just with his defense. Ted, here's why I want to go with game 1. I had said a couple times throughout the season that I never understood how Mike Brown keeps getting these jobs, and then I said after the Sixers series that I had started to re-examine, or no, after the Hawks series when he came up with the idea of putting Cat at the top of the key and running the offense through them. I have to give Mike Brown credit because, one thing, I'm not an NBA expert, but I think one of the things that I did get right was that Evan Mobley is an excellent matchup for Cat. He's one of the few big men that can guard him in space. And the offense, I think the Knicks offense in game one was floundering in part because of the layoff, and two, because Mobley is such a great matchup. And what I thought was brilliant of the Knicks head coaching staff, including Mike Brown, was in the fourth quarter when they needed a win, they said, okay, that's not working. Let's just give the ball back to Jalen Brunson because they definitely don't have anybody to stop him.
Right.
And Brunson went crazy. So what I like about Brown is he's willing in game to make big moves.
Right.
And in series, this isn't working. Let's do something else. You have to give him credit for that.
Yeah, and you can see it in the subsequent games. Cleveland can't stop Brunson from doing basically anything he wants to. I mean, and so they kind of put a halt to the change in their offense, like you said, with Karl-Anthony Towns playing at the top of the key. So they went back to what they've been doing for the last 3 or 4 years. And Cleveland, I mean, I think Donovan Mitchell is a terrific player, but he's either not capable, not willing, whatever, intermittently willing to or capable to stop him. And they don't have anybody else.
I tell you, Ted, if everybody became a free agent and you were drafting for one season, I don't know where Brunson would get picked. I don't know if he'd be a top 10 pick or not. I'd have to really think about that for a while. But he's probably a top 15 player in the league. Do you agree?
If everybody took a player, is what, 30 or 32 teams? 32?
30.
30?
No, 32. I can't remember. Anyway, somewhere in that range.
I think he's at the I think because most teams would still go with size.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would probably be towards the bottom of the first round, but definitely in the first 10 of the second round. I think, like top 40, something like that, just because teams go with size.
Yeah, but Ted, and you mentioned size. I have never seen a 6'1" player be able to get his shot off almost whenever he wants to.
Yeah, but they're going to go. I mean, I think most teams are going to go with the 6'6".
Oh, I agree with that. I agree with that. And I think
level player.
If the Spurs get to the finals and they put Stephon Castle on Brunson, then the Knicks need to figure out something else.
They're going to have to hope that the other way works.
Right, but my point is there are guys who have that combination of size and athleticism to make life miserable for Brunson.
Right.
But I watched him a couple times in this series where he rather had Strus on him or Wade on him, bigger guys that he would get within that 12, 15 foot range and just give a little pump fake and a little pause or whatever and somehow get his shot off and a little fadeaway. He's not great defensively, which is another problem, but at least he's a willing defender. But I'm really impressed when I watch Brunson.
I think because they're I think ABC or ESPN, I guess it's all the same thing, but they have Breen doing play-by-play, who, by the way, is great. I mean, I know he's the Knicks broadcast, but he's great. If you didn't know he called the Knicks games every week or every day, you wouldn't know.
No, that's true.
And it's Richard Jefferson and Legler, right? That
exactly.
They're using.
Yeah.
Great. They do it. And Legler just kept pounding away towards in the fourth quarter of last night's game. Is they got to get the ball out of Brunson's hands. They have to get the ball out of Brunson's hands. And Jefferson says, well, how do you do it? He says, I don't know, but you got to get it out of his hands.
Try something. Keep trying something until something works.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So and that's the thing is that now the Knicks have two different, very different ways to attack people I think that's a big that could go a long way for them to win in this whole thing.
Yeah. It's sort of like in hockey, we talk about you need scoring throughout from your second and third lines in hockey. The same, and this is actually a point that I have written down, Ted. Game 2, I don't care what else happens. If Josh Hart gives you 26 points and shooting 5 for 11 from 3, the Knicks are going to win.
Yeah, probably. Almost sure, almost certainly. Yeah.
Game 3, the offense is humming. All 5 starters for the Knicks are in double figures. And like game 2, they get a great game from not one of their top 2 or 3 offensive players. Mikal Bridges gives them 22 on 11 for 15 shooting. And so, Ted, last time we talked about basketball, and I think last week when we previewed, we said this series is going to come down to whether the New York offense continues to play at its level that it had been. And in game 1, maybe because of rust, maybe because they kept on having Cat and the Mobley matchup kind of. So that first game, they didn't play well offensively. They shot 48% from the field, 31 from 3. The Cavs outscored them by 18 from 3. They still found a way to win because they gave the ball to Brunson.
Right.
But in the next 2 games, both comfortable Knicks wins. They shoot 54% from the field and over 37% from 3. If that offense continues to hum at that level, the Cavaliers just are not good enough defensively to stop them.
Well, not a lot of teams are going to be good enough to stop them. I mean, Cleveland can't get stops when they need them. That's just it was like last night. Every time in the second half, the Knicks would consistently be up by 10 or 11 or 9, and you're never going to get you can't get back if you can't stop them. And every time they come down, they'd make a 3, or Brunson would go in the lane, and so the Cleveland is just scoring at the other end just to stay in contact.
Yeah.
It's never gonna.
They could never get the 10-point lead down. Well, they did get in the second quarter. They got it down to 4, and I think they might have taken a lead in the second quarter. They actually played well in the second quarter. It's the only quarter that they've won recently. But Ted, the other thing that I've noticed about these first 3 games, and I mentioned Bridges and Hart giving the Knicks big games. What I find interesting is the Cavs, what I'll consider the Cavs' 4 primary scorers: Mitchell, Harden, Mobley, and Allen. Okay?
Yeah.
Those 4 guys have been good. Those 4 guys have given the Cavaliers an average of 74 points per game. Here's the problem. The next 4 of Wade, Merrill, Schroeder, and Strus have given them a combined of 18 points per game between the 4 of them.
That's not going to get it done.
They don't need all of them to have great games, but they need at least 1, maybe 2 to hit some threes, give them some level of bench scoring and secondary scoring. They're just not getting enough from that next wave of offensive players.
Yeah, I mean, that adds up. If I heard you right and did it right, that adds up to 92.
92.
It's not enough. It's not enough anymore. You're gonna have to score. The Knicks are not the Knicks of Thibodeau, where 90 point. Hey, we got 90. That's great. No, you're gonna have to score 105 to beat these guys.
At least, because every game the Knicks are going to get above 110. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, you're gonna have to score 105, and you're gonna have to be able to stop them. You're gonna have to try and hold them under 105. And that's
it's proven to be a difficult thing for the Cavs. Let's go out to the big boy series, Ted. Well, I keep saying this, but if the Knicks play at the current level, I don't know if they can beat either of these other 2 teams. I think the other 2 teams are still the best 2 teams in the league. But anyway, let's go out to the Spurs and Thunder. And I thought game 1 showed why I thought that was the de facto NBA championship. Spurs win in double overtime while shooting less than 43% from the field and 30% from 3, and turning it over 21 times.
Yeah, but double overtime, those numbers are going to always get a little worse. Yeah, but they had the best player, right? I mean, but then they lose the next 2. So
okay, so in game 1, Ted, I was surprised that even if I can't remember if Hartenstein got in some foul trouble early in the game, but even if he had, I don't know why they didn't put Holmgren on him instead of, they came down and for big chunks of the game, they put Alex Caruso on Wemby.
Yeah.
And it was somewhat effective, but Wemby still got 41 points and 24 rebounds.
Yeah, but yeah, you kind of have to look at what I mean, he was great anyway, but what did he have before double over? Because the second overtime he had what I think he had almost 10 points, didn't he, in the second overtime?
Now Caruso keeps the Thunder in that first game. If you remember that first game, they didn't play well. Caruso goes for 31 points off the bench, including 8 for 14 from 3.
Right. He had a great game. Yeah.
Now in game 2, the Thunder follow your script. They put Hartenstein on him, and Hartenstein does his best Charles Oakley impression for most of that game, and Rick McGorn.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Bill and Beard all rolled into one.
Yeah.
I think he got away with probably about 8 or 9 fouls at least, but they're not fouls if they don't call them, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And look, we want the players to decide. So that's what you get.
Yeah. It's like we talked about before. It's like we talked about last week. I think the NBA playoffs have gotten too physical. But Ted, here's what I want to say about game 2 and to that point, game 3. Both Thunder wins. People can say what they want about SGA. He's a flopper. He's this. He gets too many ticky-tack fouls. He spends too much time on the free throw line. All of that kind of stuff. Jalen Williams, the second best player, goes out early in game number 2. Chet Holmgren has gone back to his I'm not a great player mode. It seems like Wemby has him completely freaked out. He only gives them 13. So between the next 2 best players, they get 17 points in a must-win game at home.
Right.
And SGA goes for 30.
And all, important baskets. They look, he could have gotten almost as much as he wanted, I think, because it didn't look like they could stop him. And some of that might be we're afraid to touch him. He's going to get a 3-point opportunity.
Well,
but he's got to make the first shot.
Castle's a really good on-ball defender, and I think he got a little over physical in game 3. And we'll talk about that in a moment. But I mean, as we've talked about before, I really like the two-way ability of a bunch of those Spurs wing players, and they've tried a bunch of them on SGA, but he just keeps on getting his points. The difference in game 2, and we've talked about the Rockets not having a true point guard and that showing up in a very clunky half-court offense. In game 1, the Thunder survive their 20 turnovers without De'Aaron Fox because the Thunder don't shoot very well. In game 2, again without De'Aaron Fox, they turn the ball over 21 times, and the Thunder outscore them 27-10 on points off turnovers.
Yeah.
You still, you can talk about positional basketball and, this guy and point forwards and this guy and that guy. If you don't have someone like De'Aaron Fox that can handle the ball, get you into your offense against good pressure defense, against a guy like Caruso or Dort or someone like that really pressuring the ball, the offense just isn't going to happen.
Yeah, it's turnovers in all sports are, that's always one of the stats that defines losing.
Yeah.
Or defines the difference between winning and losing. Usually the team that wins the turnover battle, particularly if it's one-sided, that team that usually commits the fewest is got the better chance. They're just not beating themselves.
Yeah. Now, game 3, Ted. Game 3, I thought was when we picked this series, you picked the Thunder.
Yep.
And I remember you saying something basically to the effect of, I like the fact they've done it before.
Yeah.
And I thought game 3 was the perfect example of what been there, done that sometimes does for a team. And we talked about, it's not like the Thunder have been there 5 or 6 times. But once you've got the one under your belt, it gives you a certain level of confidence. So without Jalen Williams,
right,
without AJ Mitchell for the most part, who was very ineffective, who had been Williams' backup and played extremely well against the Lakers, with Mitchell only gave them 17 minutes and 2 points. So basically without anything
right.
from either of those players on the road, after getting behind right out of the gate 15-0, the Thunder chip away, chip away, chip away, chip away, and here they are. They're up 2-1. And here again, you talk about, in football, there's this great line, next man up, right?
Right.
And in basketball, I don't think that's as much of a saying, because at some point you can only have so much depth, particularly on a team where you're paying SGA, Jalen Williams, and Holmgren all in the $50 million range, whatever crazy number each one of them are getting. You're going to have so much left for everybody else.
Right.
But Ted, I talked about how I love Jared McCain, the guy they picked up from the Sixers. He and Kason Wallace come in, they play a combined 55 minutes and get a combined 35 points.
That's how you win. That's how you win championships. Everybody contributes at some point. Some guys thrive on the road too,
Well, and it's funny you should say that, because I was somewhat going back to the Cavs and the Knicks. We talked about those 4 guys of Wade, Merrill, Schroeder, and Strus not playing well on the road in New York. I thought maybe come home to Cleveland, one of them would play much better. Now, Strus got 13, which I don't know if that's playing that much better. But anyway, I just, and Ted, I want to talk about the Thunder combination of GM Sam Presti and head coach Mark Daigneault. Presti, after they lost a couple of years ago in the playoffs, he traded a former first-round pick, I think number 6 overall, Josh Giddey, the Australian kid.
Right.
Trades him straight up for Alex Caruso.
Right.
At the time, I liked Alex Caruso. I thought, wow, what are they doing? He hires Daigneault, who I had never heard of. He had coached their G League team to a championship. What I think Presti and Daigneault both do an incredible job is they build teams. Presti's not just about accumulating offensive talent, because if that's what he was concerned about, he would have kept Giddey as opposed to bringing in Alex Caruso. Right. But he's interested in building a team. So after that first-round exit or second-round exit a couple years ago, he brings in Alex Caruso and Hartenstein. Neither of them are offensive powerhouses.
No.
But they
fit.
And they serve a specific purpose.
And they're happy with their roles. They're like, okay, yeah, you need me to do this, great. How many minutes do I get or whatever? They just, they just want to win. And you have to, every team has to have that. They have to have a couple of guys that just want, you have Michael Jordan in the Bulls, they had him and they had Pippen and they had, all the various centers that they ran through.
At one point, it was the 3-headed of Cartwright, Longley, and Longley and Purdue. Oh, they had Winnington in there also. But I'm thinking about like a guy like Ron Harper.
Yeah.
Before Rodman, Horace Grant. Again, people that
and what about like the B.J. Armstrong and
Steve
Paxton,
Kerr and Paxton?
Yeah, they all had a job. They knew what their job was. They know they're not going to be the star that they were in high school and college, but let's just win. And that's you have to have you. It's really hard to win with a team of all stars. Look, when we were kids, you had, remember when Walton and the Trailblazers beat the 76ers, everybody thought Philadelphia was going to win.
Yeah.
But Portland had Walton and
the big guy, the power forward. What was his name?
Maurice Lucas.
Maurice
But I mean,
Lucas.
they didn't have the other guy, Lionel Hollins and Dave Twardzik and these other guys, and people outside of Portland didn't know who they were.
But they played great as a team.
Yeah, right. They were just and so the collection of all-stars couldn't beat a well-coached team. Yeah. So you have to have
Ted. The key to the secret weapon for the Thunder so far has been Alex Caruso. The Spurs' Keldon Johnson won the Sixth Man of the Year award. I'm sure he was great. But Ted, in the first 3 games, Caruso coming off the bench is averaging 21 a game, shooting over 60% from the field and from 3-point land.
Yeah.
While getting almost 3 rebounds, while getting almost 2 steals, and at times playing against Wemby defensively, or playing against De'Aaron Fox, or playing against Dylan Harper, or playing against whatever really good offensive player, because at the end of the day, that's his primary role. He and Dort are the defensive perimeter guys.
Right.
It really goes to show you that in sports, if you get the right GM, the right coach, and one great star, you can then build everything around it.
Yeah, you're in business. Yeah. But I was watching that series and I don't know if they kept talking about the Spurs playing a zone, and that was throwing off Oklahoma City. Yeah, maybe when they first saw it, but there's a reason, aside from the rules for many years, but now that they're allowed to play, there's a reason that teams in the NBA don't play zone. And once they realized what was going on, they chewed that up and spit it back out. And I don't know, change of pace, great, that's fine, whatever. If you're doing it to give Wemby a break in the middle where he's not chasing somebody around, okay, I get it. But it's one of those things that seemed like they stuck with it too long, at different times. And the pros know once they see, okay, that's the zone. Okay, we know exactly what to do here, and they're gonna, and they just shoot too well to live with the zone for very long.
Spurs have to win game tonight, Ted. Have to.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine going 3-1 back to Oklahoma City. No. It doesn't seem likely.
All right, let's go out to the NHL, Ted, and let's spend a few moments on the hockey with the Canadiens and begin with the Canadiens-Hurricanes series first. Montreal shocks me. We talked about the layoff. I think that might have been part of it.
I think that was part of it, particularly the first period. I don't know if you saw the interview with Brindamore in the second period.
No, I didn't.
They said, the woman, Jackie, whatever.
Yeah.
She comes on and said, she basically said, what happened in the first period? And he goes, I don't know what I was watching. He said, I know the layoff hurt us, but he said, we weren't ready for this. He said, that is not the team that I'm used to seeing. And they did play much better in the second period, but they only got the 1 goal, and then it just wasn't enough that night.
Now,
and Anderson fell off. I mean, and
yes,
you could say a lot about the layoff, that I'm sure that hurt him, but there were a couple that, earlier in the previous rounds
weren't getting by him.
And weren't getting by him. Yeah. So.
In game 2, the Hurricanes go back to their suffocating game. They hold Montreal to 12 shots on goal.
Yeah.
Hard to win with 12 shots on goal.
And still it went to overtime because, the goalie for Montreal is he's been really, really good. And it just seems to me that there's they said during the playoffs, during this round at some point, that they played each other during the season 3 times.
And the Canadiens won all 3.
Yeah. So, and sometimes you can put more on that than there is, but because the playoffs are different. But yeah, I mean, Montreal knows what they're doing with Carolina. They're not afraid, and their goalie's playing really well. So they're going to give them. It's going to be a hard series.
Now,
I thought Carolina was gonna blow this thing. I said Carolina in 5, and I
Yeah,
thought that Montreal was gonna win a game at home,
yeah.
and now I still think Carolina is gonna win, but I think it's gonna be at least 6.
So one day this week, Ted, I had on Mad Dog Russo, and he was taking calls, and somebody called in and was, I think, overly confident. He was, oh, the Canadians are going to sweep them.
Yeah.
Okay. But he made a point that after watching those two games, I think the Hurricanes are a good skating team. I think the Montreal Canadiens are a great skating team. I think they're really fast. And that was the point that this guy made. He said the Canadians are too fast for the Hurricanes. And he might, I still think the Hurricanes find a way to win. But the other thing, Ted, that I noticed watching the first two games, I don't know what the Canadians do formationally or structurally with their offense, but particularly when they have the puck in their own end, like the spread offenses in football these days, they seem to be able to make the opponents defend the entire rink.
Yeah.
I watch them, and they always seem to have an open seam to make a pass to advance the puck up the ice, and they do it so quickly.
They are very fast. Yeah, they transition
and I love the way they play. And Ted, isn't it fascinating? We talk about all the time about how good teams adopt their coach's mindset. And we talk about Brendan Moore. He was a grinder. He was tough. He played hard every shift, never took a second off. And then you've got the Canadiens with Martin St. Louis, who was just an offensive.
He was a scorer. Yeah.
Yeah. And he just knew how to get into the offensive end and be productive. And his team, I still don't think they're great defensively, but
their goalie has been really, really good.
Their goalie's playing well, but I just love the way they move the puck. And
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Now over time, the Hurricanes might get, when you play them 3 times over an 82 game schedule, and you hit that pace once every 3 weeks or so, it might be difficult for them to stay up. But now that they're kind of like, okay, this is how we have to play for the next 2 weeks, I think the Hurricanes will find a way to win 4 games. But I'm impressed. I'm impressed with the Canadiens.
I thought the Hurricanes, I didn't, when I watched the previous rounds, I didn't see, and it's hard to tell on TV, and I'm not an expert. I didn't see the sizable speed difference that they seem to be having in it. But when in retrospect, you look at Montreal or Carolina played Ottawa and Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Not super fast teams. And so Carolina may have looked faster than what they really are. Whereas Montreal had Tampa, which if the 6th and 7th games were absolutely brilliant, I mean, they were loaded, they're like 2-1, 1-0, and they're just great, and then they play Buffalo, who can get it up and down the ice. And so maybe playing those 2 games, or those 2 series, you look at them and you go, well, Carolina's faster than what you think they are, and Montreal's not as fast as Buffalo was. Well, maybe they're not, but they're fast. They may be very well faster than Carolina. So
yeah. All right, let's go out to the other series, and the Las Vegas Golden Knights go into Colorado and win both games in Colorado, holding the league leading scoring team to 3 goals in 2 games.
Nice. Yeah. Now, there was a little rust in the first game, I'm sure, because Colorado had some time off. They are also missing Makar, who, maybe you don't, but he's clearly, he matters. It matters a lot.
Ted, you made a great comment when we talked about this last week about how fast the Avalanche transition from defense to offense. And Makar is a huge part of that when he's on the ice, because he's so good with the puck that you have to give him space, because if you don't, he'll go right by you. And he's so good at moving the puck just on his own that does, and he plays 25, 30 minutes a game. So
yeah. He's out there a lot. Yeah, that's a big hole to fill. Yeah. And Montreal, or not Montreal, I'm sorry, Las Vegas, again, a team that's they've been in existence 9 years, and I think have they made the playoffs every time? If not,
Just
maybe they
about.
missed once. And they've gone to the conference finals 3 or 4 times, and then they changed their coach with 10 games left in the season. And I think Tortorella is one of those guys. I think he's like the NHL version of Thibodeau. A little of him goes a long way, right?
And in short spurts, he can have a huge impact. Yeah.
And remember, his last job was in Philadelphia. And who was the goalie for most of his time in Philadelphia?
Carter Hart.
And I think he went out to Vegas, and I think he told them, this is the guy. And he went out, and I believe, I have no idea, but I think he went out there and he told Carter Hart, and I think he told the rest of the team, this is the guy that's going to get us to the finals. And that little bit of confidence and all that, and look, Las Vegas knows how to play in front of their goalie. They got big guys who, and they may not be the fastest team, but their defensemen do a good job of keeping the front of that open so that he gets a full view of most of the shots.
And in the first 2 games, Ted, Carter Hart has stopped 65 of 68 shots on goal. That's a 95.5% save percentage. I don't care who they put in front of him. If he keeps saving 95% of the shots, Vegas is going to the finals.
Yeah, and Vegas is also generally good at, their defensemen are really good at blocking shots. So a lot of there's shots that don't even get through, and I I don't know. I mean, can Colorado get a split in Las Vegas and still win? Maybe, but they're going to have to play a lot. If Makar comes back and can play well, I mean, I don't know what his injury is.
Let's look it up.
I mean, if they were to somehow come back and get it back to 2-2, then I would say that Colorado has the advantage going forward a little bit. But I think Vegas is good now. I thought Colorado was going to win in 6, and I think Vegas is going to win in 6 now, the way they've been playing.
Let's see here. Let's see what it says.
Well, they never say it's a lower body or it's an upper body.
No, this is an upper body. It's a clavicle injury.
Oh, he hurt his clavicle. Okay. Oh, they got specific to a body part. Okay,
Makar's been taking part in morning skates, shooting, and positional drills, though he has not been cleared to return to live game action.
Can't hit. Okay, he can't hit anybody yet.
Yeah,
he could have a broken or partially broken collarbone or something like that. And they're trying to figure out a way to get him out there.
Yeah.
That's hockey.
Yeah, shoot him up and tape him up and get him on out there.
Well, the crazy thing is that nowadays they're probably holding him back, right? Because hockey players, if he thinks he can shoot, then I'm sure he thinks, just shoot it up with something I can take the hits.
Makar will aim to make his return as the Avalanche head to Vegas for Game 3 on Sunday.
Yeah,
if he decides. So they're leaving it up to him. Ted, there's something else about this series that I heard. If it's Ferraro that was announcing the game, I think he's one of the better.
That's an intense guy. Even as an analyst, he's intense.
Yeah,
he was an intense player, but he's an intense guy. Yeah.
In the first 2 games, Ted, the guys who I would consider the 4 best Avalanche scorers, obviously McKinnon, Landeskog, Brock Nelson, and Nekash. Can't say that name. Those 4 guys have combined for 1 goal in these first 2 games.
Yeah, they've done a good job of well, you see them and they start to make that transition into offense. And even McKinnon, who's so fast and so strong, but they seem to get somebody in front of them.
Yeah.
And I don't, again, Tortorella probably knows as much as anybody about all of this stuff. And but you can only take so much of it for, if his history is clearly what his history is. And, you wonder if maybe they just brought him in and said, look, John, we don't care what happens. you're not coming back. You can win this whole thing, but
win 16 in a row. We're still finding someone else to start next season.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're not bringing. You're not going to be the coach at the start of next year. We're going to keep you on the bench.
No, tell you what, Ted. He's part of the organization, making the assistant general manager. And every so often in the regular season, you throw him in there for 5 games. He's like your spot starter. He goes in and pisses everybody off and gets in everybody's business, gets them back on track, and then let the nice guy come back in.
Yeah, the regular coach has a personal issue he has to deal with for a couple of weeks.
He's a little ill. Yeah, it's COVID.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, he's got something going on, and yeah.
Hey, by the way, Ted, this is completely off the rails now, but I'm flipping back through my browser history, and I came back to the Joel Embiid page when I was looking at that.
Yeah.
You want to know what Joel's middle name is?
No. Yeah, I have no idea.
Hans. Joel Hans Embiid.
Wow. Okay, there you go.
Does Cameroon have a German history to it?
It's all French. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have thought so also.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's dad's middle name or granddad's middle name.
That's fascinating. I never would have thought. So on Joel Embiid's middle name,
Hans.
Well, that could have been the trivia question.
Yeah, that would have been a really good trivia question, because I guarantee you could have given me a lot of parts of that middle name. You could have given me the H and the F. I would not have known. Yeah.
In game night recently, one of the ladies that hosts, she likes doing sort of like Wheel of Fortune, where she puts up like a song title or something, and the artist, and you have to,
Was that is that how you get in?
No, but it was 60s music one night, and it was this long title, and then the artist name was really long, and I can't remember. I saw like one letter that got in there. I just figured it all out, and I went, oh, Purple Haze by the Jim. And the thing that got everybody up didn't realize is it wasn't the artist was not, the band was not called Jimi Hendrix. It was the Jimi Hendrix Experience.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So I realized I can't remember what letter got up there, and I looked at it and went, oh, Purple Haze by the Jimi Hendrix Experience. I wowed everybody with getting that.
Oh, there you go. You get it, and they let you in first. I mean, what's
actually, the hostess was giving me grief that night, because that was the Friday night of the second round of the NFL draft. And since we were doing that topic Sunday, I had my phone on. I was kind of sitting in the back, and like at one point she looks at me and goes, Chris, are you participating tonight? I said, yeah, I'm participating. I
Jimi Hendrix Experience. Get out.
Yeah, I got it. That's fine. But let me see who the Packers are going to take with their first pick in the second round. They need a corner or something here. Let me see what I got. Let me see what I got going on.
That's like one of those commercials where a guy's getting married and he's got his phone, or the best man's got the phone and he's watching a game or something.
Yeah.
Or the have you seen the new ads with our guy who's so dumb?
Yes. For
the
Liberty.
Yeah, right. The Liberty Bit. Those are really good.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, you can watch them once or twice and it's great, But I give that guy credit. He's probably from Mensa or something, and to play somebody that dumb.
Well, also he's probably like a Juilliard trained actor who's been doing Hamlet for the last 2 years on stage somewhere, and now he's doing Libbity Bibbity.
He's been doing Hamlet in summer theater in northern Michigan in front of a badger and 3 hippies. We're all under a blanket going, it's July.
Well, if anybody stayed for the end of the episode today, Ted, they got a nice little laugh between Joel Hans Embiid and Libbity Bibbity and so forth. We're good to go.
I think when you go on to this other thing that you were talking about,
yes,
I think that you could just say, look, put some clips on here of this. Gold, Jerry, it's gold.
All right, for that, we're going to wrap it for the week. Thank you again to our fans for listening. Please follow us on all of our social media sites. We have a YouTube channel. Please follow us here on millions.co, first of all. Then check us out on our social media platforms. We have a YouTube channel. We're also on Instagram, X, and Facebook. You can email us at grumpybrothersports@gmail.com. And with that, again, we'll say thank you, and we promise to do better next time.